Hey everybody, Generally Irritable here. Doing a little intro for this interview with Abby Johnson that I got to do at the Turning Point USA Young Women's Leadership Summit in Dallas. This interview and this meeting was probably the most exciting for me and the most meaningful. Abby Johnson made the movie called Unplanned. It's a dramatization of her story as a former Planned Parenthood employee. I am a former Planned Parenthood volunteer. I have family that has worked for them in the past. I used to shout it how great Planned Parenthood was, not because they do abortions, but because of medical care that I did receive from them. I had an abnormal pap smear one year in my early 20s, and it was early cervical cancer. That Planned Parenthood helped me get a grant to get the procedure to rectify that, and I was really grateful for that. So I had an affinity for the organization, for my personal story, I guess. After becoming Christian, I tried to maintain being pro-choice. Well, it's not my right to tell other people what to do. My body, my choice. Abby Johnson's movie Unplanned came out. And I remember wanting to have an open mind and be willing to hear the other side, the pro-life side, and see where they were coming from. There was something on my heart that just kind of knew that there was a problem with abortion and the industry. Information was starting to come out about how they were selling body parts, and Planned Parenthood shuts down dissent. So if people get information, they'll sue them out of existence, right? So this crack had started for me with the organization that maybe they weren't so great for women after all. So I watched Unplanned, and it broke my heart. We've been lied to in order to facilitate abortion and the ending of a human life, the dehumanization of the unborn. And I could no longer turn away and pretend like this is just some medical procedure and it's just a clump of cells. The veil was lifted. I found some different videos of doctors talking about abortion and what the procedures are like. I started looking into the gestation period of babies and seeing how within 4 weeks, you don't even know you are pregnant yet, supposedly. That baby is already identifiable as a baby. You can see that it has a head and eyes and hands and legs. I learned that the baby has its own DNA, its own blood type. And these are all things that I could have easily learned or known or heard about in biology or class or something like that. We just go along with the narrative that it's just a clump of cells. And the truth is much more disturbing than that. It is the ending of a human life, oftentimes because it's inconvenient for the mother. Not because she was raped, not because she was the victim of incest, none of those things. The majority of the 1 million abortions a year in this country are out of inconvenience. I slept with a dude who sucks. I don't have enough money, etc., etc. People make up all these excuses for why it's okay to take the life of another human being because it's inconvenient for us. That changed me. And I turned in my pro-choice card at that moment. I said, nope, I'm done with that. You have choices. Women, men, we have choices. And they come long before a human life is created in the womb. So many laws and things that we do in this world are about removing the consequences for our decisions. Nothing is more troubling than the willingness to take another human life because I made a bad choice. In Vermont, you can abort up until the point of birth. So what is the difference between when I have a 9-month-old baby in my womb versus after it's born? Why does its life matter more? And why is it more valuable after it comes out of my womb than while it is in the womb? It is the same baby. It is the same human life. Abby Johnson, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for having the courage to face a multinational conglomerate who crushes all of its dissent. Thank you for sticking up for us. Thank you for sticking up for the unborn. Thank you for being willing to tell the truth and allowing people like me to have the veil lifted and to see the truth. Hey everybody, I am here at the Turning Point USA Young Women's Leadership Conference Summit, and I just happened across Miss Abby Johnson, and I just wanted to, I totally fangirled out with her a minute ago and told her how much her movie, and it's blanking on my brain right now, Unplanned actually was a really big part of me moving away from being pro-abortion to being pro-life, and how meaningful that was for me. And so, I mentioned that Vermont is actually trying to enshrine abortion in our Constitution. Mm-hmm. And so I wondered if you might be able to give a little encouragement to the folks in Vermont, how we can best fight back. So it's passed the legislature, and now it's going to go on the ballot. Is there anything you can suggest to folks or encourage folks how to fight back against this and how to really educate the rest of Vermonters about why that's not good?
Well, I mean, look, people are going to vote on this. They're going to, vote the correct way, as long as they will do it if you guys get out there and tell them what to do.
Right.
And I feel like that's really the problem in our society today, is that the people who know the truth aren't doing a good enough job at proclaiming that truth.
That truth, yes.
And so the people who are proclaiming untruths are doing a very good job.
Very good job.
At spreading the untruth, and doing it very boldly.
Yes.
I mean, they're doing it all over every social media platform.
Without fear. They don't care.
No.
I mean, when I...
Not afraid to offend.
For my Senate campaign last year, Vermont Right to Life was actually afraid to donate to me because they were afraid it would hurt my campaign. But Planned Parenthood is the largest political donor in the state of Vermont.
Yeah.
And so that's okay.
Yeah.
But if you're pro-life, then you're not allowed to talk.
And that's really a shame, right? But that's really where we are, is that those who are proclaiming lies are doing it with such fervor.
Yeah.
And such determination that it is drowning out the few voices that are proclaiming truth.
Yep.
And so what we have to do is we have to be louder.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, be bolder.
We have to be bolder. We have to be less afraid to offend, right?
So I've been, you guys, all my viewers, you know this, I've been calling everybody chicken. I've actually been calling people to task at Republican Party meetings, at Liberty meetings, or anything like that we have around town. People are like, oh, I'm afraid for my business. And I'm like, yeah, I know. My accounting business took a hit when I ran for Senate and was out as an open conservative.
You know what I'm more afraid of, though?
Yeah.
I'm more afraid of offending the heart of God.
Ooh.
I'm more afraid of standing in front of my Creator at the end of my life and God saying to me, why didn't you do the things that I asked you to do? Why were you more afraid of protecting your business, something that you can't take with you into eternity? Why were you more protective of your finances than you are my truth?
Are you guys listening to this?
So I think that we need to get to that point where we are more concerned about offending the heart of God than we are about offending our neighbor, than we are about protecting our businesses, than we are about protecting our relationships, than we are about, being concerned about how many friends we have on social media, than we are even about offending those that we go to church with.
Yep.
Because there are a lot of people leading us astray. And that includes many times the churches that we're a part of. And so we need to proclaim truth with a capital T.
Yep.
Right? Not my truth, your truth, but His truth, the truth of Jesus Christ. And we need to be unabashed about doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, I love that. Because that's I've had a hard time figuring out how to say it and not be rude and just be like, you guys are chickens.
Well,
Stop
you know
being
what?
chickens.
I have a podcast called Politely Rude.
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
that's just how I am.
I like that.
I'm just
politely rude. Well, and see,
But
this
politely.
is the thing.
I'm polite about it.
Is it really, people will say that they're offended or that it's rude or whatever, and it's like, is it really rude?
Is it rude or is it just the truth?
Or you just don't like it?
You just don't like what I'm saying.
It hurts your feelings.
Right.
You're convicted maybe even by what I'm saying, and so that's why you
People
don't
who don't
like it.
like the truth are going to be perpetually offended.
Oh my God, isn't that true?
It's true.
That is very true.
Yeah. So if you're offended, then you need to check yourself. Right?
I think we should put a pin there, Mrs. Johnson. We're gonna call that say that last line again.
If you're offended, you need to check yourself.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. I'm sorry. You can tell I'm totally a child of the 80s. This is ridiculous. Thank you all. Thank you so much for sharing with us today and for being here and for all your service.
Thank you.
All right, bye guys.